TIFU playing cheesecake for my family through the Echo on Christmas morning. Writing this from the bathroom as I just realized what happened. Home for the holidays. My family got an Amazon Alexa a couple of years ago, and my parents never quite figured out how to actually make it work. It used to be set up under my account, but when I moved out last year I transferred everything to my mom. It's in the kitchen, and she mostly uses it for timers while cooking. Our family likes offbeat Christmas music, and I spent a while some time back curating it all onto a special Spotify playlist for us. We like to listen to it as we have brunch and open presents on Christmas morning. Here's where the FU starts. Yesterday I wanted to play a new song I heard for my mom. I couldn't get the Echo to find it, so I had to connect my phone via Bluetooth. The family all got new phones a month ago, so there were no devices automatically connected. I paired my phone and played the song. This morning, before a long day of family, small talk, presents and whatnot, I was mentally preparing myself for the day in my childhood bed. You know, relieving some stress with videos. Oddly enough, none of the videos I stumbled upon had sound. I wrote it off as shoddy sources and finished the deed. When I came downstairs to say good morning and Merry Christmas to the family, my sister greets me with "You need to play the playlist from your phone. I can't get the Echo to connect to my phone." Okay, no problem, I'll connect my phone. I was trying to connect mine, and I think yours is already connected. Not sure what my family heard playing over the Echo this morning, but it wasn't my usual Christmas playlist. TL, Doctor paired my new phone to my family's Echo yesterday. Went to tug one out this morning in my childhood bed, and I'm pretty sure that soundtrack blasted in the kitchen for my family. So sad. Alexa, play Backdoor Cheesecake number 9. Always make sure to turn off Bluetooth while fapping. Never know what you're connected to, lol. Similar-ish thing happened to me, except it was the Bluetooth in my dad's car. This happened when I was still living at my parents'. For context, my bedroom is in the front of the house and is the closest one to the driveway. He works late hours, so he tends to come home at like 1 AM to 2 AM. I decided to relieve myself with some videos and all was well. All of a sudden, my audio cuts out and I'm thinking it's just a quiet video. So I crank up the volume and still nothing. After a couple minutes of trying to figure this out, I noticed there were lights on in the driveway coming through my window. It was my dad and my phone connected to his Bluetooth. What's worse is that when my phone is connected to his car it says, "Kit Xmas iPhone" on it. Frick, never forget. Edit, wow, my first silver and it's about blasting cheesecake in my dad's car. Merry Christmas everyone, haha. Ever notice how Bluetooth will never sync up when you are trying, but the second you want some privacy that coconut connects to every device in the world? Sounds like you gave them beat off music instead of offbeat. You're the best big brother I could have ever asked for. Letter B in square, bratty sis. TIFU by peeing all over my first kiss and immediately legging it. Not today, about 9 years ago. This story is one that still keeps me awake at night begging for death. Backstory: I was 15, just an awkward high schooler from the suburbs of Melbourne. I wasn't popular by any means, but I had a few good mates, and while none of us had a girlfriend, we were always full of button-out stories about our sexual conquests. "Oh, she's from another school, you don't know her, it was on holiday, and then her friend joined in," etc. Between us we must have banana half the female population of Australia before hitting 16. But in reality all of us probably would have killed each other if it meant a shot at ditching the V-plates. Anyway, as the school year's finishing up and everyone's gearing up for summer, there's talk about some of the popular kids heading out of town on a bit of a camping trip, out on this king of the jocks type's cousin's farm. Everyone wanted in. A big piss up away from adults filled with the hottest girls from our year. Come on, if us boys could score an invite we'd finally be able to prove to each other just how much game we had. I wasn't so naive as to actually bother asking for an invite. There was no chance of us getting a look in, we simply did not have that kind of status. But then, on the first day of the summer break, one of the guys hits me up with a text, we're in, pack your coconut. Fortunately for us, his much cooler sister from the year below ours had been immediately invited, and through the age-old art of sibling blackmail, he'd wrestled the details out of her. It wasn't an invite per se, but we knew where to go, and I doubt we rated high enough to even bother asking to leave. Due to the nature of the impending debauchery, we had absolutely no interest in our parents catching on to the vibe of the trip and decided to get ourselves there. An hour and a half on the train out of town, a bus ride and about a 30-minute walk later we arrive at the campsite. It wasn't really a farm, it was just this massive property that made money as a sort of backup scout camp most of the year, but the owner was letting us have it for the weekend while it was empty. We shouldn't have worried about not getting an invite. It seemed like half the year level had rocked up. Looking back, I honestly have no idea how a group of 14 to 16-year-olds got their hands on as much alcohol as they did, but this thing was stocked. We were on some Project X zucchini, a whole bunch of zucchini crazy teenagers out in the sticks drinking themselves stupid. This was my first experience properly drinking, and despite my apparent long list of sexual conquests, my first time really hanging out with girls. The pissoning. One of the great things about binge drinking is how it tends to break down social barriers and make you realize that most people are actually pretty cool once they drop the act. One of the terrible things about binge drinking is how it tends to break down urinal barriers and make you realize that no matter how recently you took a piss, you're gonna be busting for another in no time. For example, late into the evening, I found myself sitting on a log, alone with a girl I'd never have had the balls to speak to before. Classic popular high school girl, way out of my league. But here we were, her downing vodka from the bottle, me sinking tinnies of sweet, sugary, girly cider. Things get a little blurry, but I remember getting increasingly closer and closer until we were making out. We were pretty awkwardly positioned on this log, and in an attempt to disguise my own overly excited log I was sort of leaning forward with my arm tucked into my stomach. My elbow was pushing up hard against my bladder. Suddenly became aware of a desperate need to pee. But I wasn't gonna be a coconut idiot by ending this action to get up and go empty the tank. I needed to be stoic. I could pee when I'm dead. My unwelcome rock-hard guest was at this point making a pretty good go of trying to break free from my pants, and this girl could tell. To my teenage delight, rather than retracting in horror, she didn't seem to mind and decided to work with it. Unzip, pull free, spit in the hand. She knew what she was doing. The unrelenting excitement that should have been my first coconut became sheer panic as I felt the floodgates reaching breaking point. Within milliseconds, the thought left my brain and traveled south. Before the words "oh coconut stop" could leave my mouth, I became a human super soaker, releasing a veritable Niagara Falls skyward into the small space between us. By the time she'd pulled away in drunken horror, my liquid fury was all over both of us. Her face was contorted into a mixture of confusion and rage, and before either one of us says anything I'm on my feet running for the hills, attempting to tuck my still flowing hose away. She's yelling after me, "What the coconut is wrong with you?" as people look over at the chaos. After hiding away in my tent for a short time, King of the Jocks less than politely told me that it was time for me to leave and to take my guys with me. They were not impressed. Called my dad to come and pick us up at 2 in the morning. He was not impressed. As for the girl, the reputation that followed me around school for the following 3 years makes me think that she was, in fact, not impressed. TL, Doctor, things were getting a little wild post my first make-out sesh with a hot girl, but after foolishly ignoring my bladder, liquid gold rained down on the both of us and I ran like the wind. Got myself and my mates kicked out of the party of the year, and had my dad drive an hour and a half out at 2 AM to pick us up. Edit, thanks for my first ever, non-liquid, gold. Edit 2, to all those asking about my ability to take a piss while standing to attention, I don't know what to tell you. Is it a superpower? Am I broken? We may never know. I can safely say that I don't partake often due to urine-related PTSD. Follow up, thanks for all the kind words. I'm glad this harrowing moment of adolescence made you laugh. I can't reply to all the comments, but to those asking what happened to the girl, I don't think we ever spoke again, but still saw each other in classes and stuff, just forever avoiding eye contact. As for my group of mates, it didn't take them too long to forgive me, and it eventually just became one of those stories that is brought up at every possible opportunity. I still get roasted for it. I swear I heard this one going along the rumor mill, given I was that age as well, and from Melbourne when that happened. Amazing. I went to a pretty big school and it made the rounds there. I wouldn't be surprised if my humiliation was dragged out into the greater Melbourne region. Look on the bright side, if it had happened today, it would be captured on video and all over internet for sure. Even without that, I still can't get over how bad the story is on so many levels. 1. Humiliated in front of hot girl. 2. Probably embarrassed her and made her hate him. 3. Was witnessed by all the cool kids, other girls, and circle of nerd buddies. 4. Got friends kicked out of party. 5. People probably thought the whole thing was intentional. 6. Piss off dad and make him drive all night for dumb reasons. 7. Wait awkwardly an hour and a half for a ride before you can leave. 8. Still have to sit with all your pissed off friends and dad on the way back. 9. You ruined everybody's night. 10. Everyone remembers it for the rest of your life. This is pure gold. Pure liquid gold. Till in Australia they call them V-plates. When you first get your driver's license you have to put up probationary plates in your car window. I think that's where it came from. Lol, water sports must not be her thing. TIFU by showing my Tinder dates mom my bare banana. Obligatory. It happened a month ago. I started hooking up with this guy from Tinder. He lives with his brother in an apartment, and his mother comes occasionally to spend time with them. Decided to indulge in a little herb smoking one Saturday night. The munchies kicked in around 2 AM, so we made some potato wedges in the air fryer. Came back and spooned to sleep. I wake up the next morning, with his morning wood pressed to my butt. This, for some reason, turned me on and we proceeded to have lazy spooning zucchini at 6:30 AM. Midway through it, we heard his apartment's main door open. Tinder dude stopped and got up, confused. I was still lying on the bed, wearing his t-shirt and boxers, which were pulled down to my knees. Cheesecake visible, in all its glory. Now I was still under the impression that his room's door was locked. I was wrong. His mother opened the door and I swear she had the same expression as the shocked Pikachu meme. Amused. She immediately closed the door. I ran to the washroom and got dressed, and hid inside for a good 20 minutes trying to figure out if jumping from the washroom window would be a good escape plan or not. Turns out she came early to take the dog, who was in the same room as us the entire time, for her vet appointment. I left as soon as she left. She later had a conversation with her 22-year-old son about consent, and respecting women. She asked him if I was his girlfriend, to which he had to explain his very Catholic mother that we're just two friends trying to figure things out. Boiler, we ended up dating. Thankfully his mother joked it off the next time we met, saying, "Hi, I'm Coconut, Tinder guy's mom. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself the last time we met." Chuckles. TL, doctor, Tinder date and I got too baked and forgot to lock the room. Woke up the next morning to pip pip the diddly-do and got walked in on by the dude's mom. And that's the story of how my now-so's mom saw my bare coconut before she could see my face first. P.S. We never ate the wedges and he found them lying in the air fryer a week later. Edit, thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Edit 2, holy butternut, I can't believe this blew up. My account is due, you assessed it 4 days old. Man, I love Reddit. Edit 3, this one's more like a clarification. I live in a non-first world country where it's fairly common for people to live with their parents / for parents to come over. His mom was supposed to pick the dog up to take her to the vet, and was being nice by not wanting to wake her son up. She had the house keys, which is again, fairly normal here. We were dumbasses. Come here, Coconut. Reddit. And that's how I met your mother. Grandma to the kids. I was hoping the wedgies would come back into the story sooner, if I'm honest. Not really you that zucchini up, but her. What kind of mother doesn't knock on her son's door? Doesn't she know what kind of depraved cheesecake she is opening herself up to? She sure knows now. Are you guys still together? That's the real question. Yes. I was worried I'd never see his face again after that. The real cheesecake up here was forgetting to eat the potato wedges.